That's what I thought.
Oh, good.
But I wasn't sure.
Appreciative. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the September 28, 2015 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair, also representing District 2. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller, representing District 1.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Bob Archer, representing District 3. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could start with our first item.
First item is under proclamations, presentations, update on Heartland Visioning, and presentation regarding new advertisement for downtown Topeka.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Hunter, Heartland Visioning. Very happy to be with you this morning, and we're excited about what we're going to start with. First off, I do want to thank you for your support last year at the JADO meeting for funding for Heartland Visioning. One of the things that we had stressed at that time was the interest on our part to mount what we call an awareness campaign. And that campaign is based on Heartland Visioning getting our name out into the city, county, but also the promotion of a number of major projects that were happening and bringing the community sense of awareness to these things to a higher level. So our first one that we did was in support of the Pine Ridge program, and we're happy to report that Sophie George, who heads up the Topeka Housing Association, actually was able to take that commercial when she spoke at a national convention. So that has been shown nationally. The second one we did was on the bike share program, and I think we all realize how successful that's been for us in the community. Not only does it add to the health of the community, but it also provides an excellent way of transportation around our city. This is our third and final one for this year. We've been working for the last 3 months with Vince Fry and DTI. We've taken a whole different approach to this. We hired Philip Watson to create a song for us, and it's going to be, you'll be able to check into heartlandvisioning.com as of October 1st and see the whole song, and also see it on YouTube. And then we've created a 45-second spot from that song. And what we're going to do is start by showing you the 45-second spot. We've also raised additional dollar support. You see Bartlett and West and DTI have come in on this. So the money that you provided helped us to go out and raise additional dollars, all for the purpose of buying additional airtime during the month of October. And the reason we're pushing in October is because Vince has informed us he has a number of major announcements about downtown that are going to be forthcoming. So again, good example of partnerships. So here we go with Topeka Proud.
Topeka, 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 Topeka. And you can feel it in the heart of the heartland. Like flowing to the start, here our hearts are being burdened and born. Sun covered from lawn, but reconstruction is showing where the construction is going. We got a vision to reposition our living. Our minds have been conditioned, but we can see through the prism in the future there's bright. If you can shed light, downtown's coming up, just for you coming soon. And all they say is where your heart lays, that's where my heart's gonna stay. So north, south, east, west, downtown, I've ever been. Topeka, 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 Topeka.
So that's a 45-second spot that you're going to be seeing on the station. Various stations, in fact, all of our major stations, it'll be on starting the 1st of October. We're very, very pleased with that. And again, if you'd like to go see the entire song, it'll be up on our site, and that's a 2.5-minute song. So we're very excited about that. A couple of other things I wanted to point out to you. We've given you another update, a visioning report from our volunteers, and there's a couple of things on there. We are working with the Oakland area of our community. We're going to be meeting again on the 19th of October, meeting with their NIA over there. They're very interested in moving forward with another visioning project along Seward Avenue. So this will be our second meeting and helping them get organized. We're very excited about that. Also, Kristen Brunkow, I'm sure you all know Kristen. Kristen is now doing the community engagements, working with Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. They've done one already, and they have another one coming up on September 30th. We're excited about that. We've been working with the City Planning Department and Visit Topeka on the wayfinding. And this is important also to the county because some of the various sites, like the Expo Center and that, will also be part of this. AXIA is a group that has been hired. They have sent us a preliminary report that has been reviewed. Once that report is finished, that will then be taken out into the community, and people will be able to respond to that. And then we hope to, in 2016, start working on how that will be funded as a project and hopefully get something in the 2016 budget. On the backside of that, the Riverfront Park project is moving forward, and I know one of the things that has been part of the discussion for a while is the use of the original transient guest tax dollars that were set aside. The city is now in the process of purchasing the properties over there. The plan is to buy the properties, tear them down, prepare the land, so when the group from the Oregon Trail project come in this next spring of 16, that we should have just a large grassy site ready for them to look at. So we're excited about how these things are moving on. And again, we stress, visioning is it's a complex process. It takes time. We have to be adaptive along the way, and we're excited that these major projects are moving forward. You also have a brief summary from the surveying that we've been doing in the community. Now, we're going to stop doing this sometime first part of November, and then we'll work to get our data together, and we'll present it in December at our steering committee meeting at that time, and also make that available publicly. But there were a couple of points that I think are really exciting. We're pushing just shy of 400 in responses at this time. But in terms of what do you perceive as positive changes going on in our community, the riverfront development is one of the things that people respond to. Also parks and recreation in general. So whether it's the new water park development, the Shunga Trail projects that are going on, people are obviously paying attention to that. In terms of quality of life, this we really are excited about. We're seeing a substantial number of people pointing out to us that there is an increase in community pride. There's a sense of more optimism in our community, and they're really sensing that there is community cooperation going on. And I think these are some of the things certainly that visioning strives for, but I think it's not just visioning, it's the work of the commissioners, it's the work of the city council, our government, and our private sector. People are really starting to see that people are working together for the well-being of all of us. Under what people are most proud of in their city, again, something for the county here, Topeka Shawnee County Public Library is our #1. People just love our library. Parks and recreation facilities and the Discovery Center also are very, very strong in there. You'll see NOTO. I won't say much about that. I think we're all very proud of where that's going. In terms of what do you want for the future of your city, people are, again, going back to riverfront recreation. And I think the reason that keeps popping up is because they are aware that the funding is coming through for the levee project. We expect that they'll be announcing shortly who's going to get the bid, and then that project is going to be started. The fact that Topeka is rated #2 in the country, and also that riverfront and the levees, all of that gets tied together, and it's been in our dialogue for some time now. The downtown plaza wasn't mentioned, or doesn't pop up in terms of the mention for the future of our city, because that's basically a new project that has come along. That's just now starting to get legs. And then some of the positive responses that we have about downtown, people are saying to us, when complete, downtown should be a wonderful improvement, a real addition to our community, and they're excited about it. Another point that is getting high marks is downtown engagement of young people. The concern for the millennium generation, where can we go, what can we do? The activities both downtown and what we call our dynamic core, 10th Street all the way up to Gordon, so that we're covering Noto, the Riverfront Park, Great Overland Station, recreation on the river, and then the downtown are really, really important to us. And then what do you want for the future of the city? High marks for amenities to support downtown lofts and apartments. People do want to see more of that type of activity, and that really fits in with national trends that are going on around the nation, where you see people coming together into more walkable environments for them. And the Jayhawk Theater is getting a number of hits, and we're excited about the work that's going on with that project. So we've also given you a copy of our survey that we send out with each of our presentations. There really are only 3 questions on there that people are responding to. The 4th question is more in line with how do you want us to communicate back with you, so that we can make sure that we're up on whether it's a Twitter or a Facebook, it's our website, social media, Capital Journal, whatever it happens to be. So the survey gives them some suggestions, and then we also ask what else needs to be there, and we are very, very pleased how many people are really getting very active with this survey and giving us their opinions on how they're seeing things both in the county and in the city. So we'll give you a full report on that at the end of the year, and hope you enjoyed our newest commercial. You're going to see a lot of it during the month. So thank you very much. I'll take any questions if you have them.
I think so, no. Thank you.
Commissioner Archer.
Just thank you, John. I attended the financial services meeting last week. In that meeting and other meetings I go to, there's a common theme, and that common theme is how do we keep young people and young professionals in Topeka and Shawnee County. I think the Southwest Aquatic Park, the downtown redevelopment, and so many things that make Topeka attractive to young people are coming to fruition, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
John, I would echo those comments, but thank you for your work. I know that it is never-ending, and it's always changing.
Yes, it is indeed. It's exciting, though. We have such great people in this community to be working with. That's what really makes it.
True.
So, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Vouchers are totaling $2,829,253.65. We have allocations for the last quarter, for the 4th quarter. Okay. $1,426,961.19, and that's to 36 different agencies, including elderly and social and mental health services, developmentally disabled, conservation, extension, AMR, Kansas Expo Center, and the Fair Association. So that's included in all of those in that amount. Pooled cash is $505,285.98, and that's payroll. And then we have infrastructure with HAM Incorporated, $329,320.07. And no questions. I move approval.
There's been motion for approval of the vouchers as presented by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll make a motion to approve the correction orders.
And second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller for approval of the correction orders, and that is approved 3-0. Next item.
Item B, audit finance number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C369-2015 with Lighthouse Services, Inc. to provide a third-party communication system for employees to anonymously report unethical activities at a cost of $1,085 for 1 year from October 1st, 2015 to October 1st, 2016.
Good morning. Andrea Forbes, Internal Auditor. I'm requesting your approval for the contract with Lighthouse to implement an anonymous ethics hotline where employees can report any unethical activities. Before your decision, I have a short PowerPoint that I'd like to present. First, I'm going to touch on why it's necessary to establish a hotline. Then I'll discuss the characteristics that we looked at with the different companies. And then I will talk about why we chose Lighthouse Services, and then lastly, the reporting process. So why should we establish a third-party ethics hotline? An ethics hotline provides a confidential method of communication that's accessible 24 hours a day, year-round, for employees to report any fraudulent, wasteful, and unethical activities that they may witness or experience in the workplace. Some of those activities may include harassment, conflicts of interest, time theft, and discrimination. Having an independent hotline reduces the possibility of inappropriate or illegal actions. And one of the most effective methods for reducing fraud is the implementation of a hotline. In a study done in 2010, the 37.8% of frauds reported in the U.S. were discovered through an ethics hotline. And fraud is also more likely to be discovered through a tip than anything else. We looked into 3 different companies to provide our hotline for us. This is a list of the characteristics that we focused on. The most important characteristics, obviously, were they 100% anonymous and confidential. This makes the person reporting feel comfortable without fear of retaliation when they make a report. And in order to be 100% anonymous, the company must be independent of Shawnee County. We also wanted the company to be have different reporting channels, such as the web or phone, and also to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And this makes the reporter feel more comfortable reporting because they have the ability to report outside of work when nobody else is around. Lastly, we wanted a case management system that we can track the reports, monitor, and analyze them on the web, and keep everything to create an audit trail. After looking at the 3 companies, Lighthouse Services best fit our needs. They provide secure, confidential, and anonymous reporting. The reporter is 100% anonymous if they choose. Lighthouse will never divulge their information to us. They're an independent third-party provider. They provide multiple reporting channels. They provide through the web, email, phone, and fax. Shawnee County employees were provided a toll-free number so that they can ensure that they will remain anonymous. They provide 24-hour access 365 days a year. And if the report is submitted through the toll-free number, Lighthouse operators are professionally trained, and they're accustomed to dealing with caller concerns, frustrations, anger, etc. A secure case management system is available to us through Lighthouse. We can track, address, monitor, and maintain reports with the ability to manage the resolution process, from documenting any actions taken, any outcomes, and this again creates the audit trail for added internal control. Lastly, one of the important things I thought was they provided an open exchange. So this allows a reporter to call back in or get back on the web to see any outcomes or to add additional information if they need to. And then also Lighthouse provides, they can act as an intermediary to facilitate dialogue. So what this means is, say a report was submitted through the web. The reporter chooses to provide their email address to Lighthouse, but not to Shawnee County. That's an option, that they can provide the information to Lighthouse. Lighthouse does not provide it to us. And then I get the report, once I review it, and it's determined I need more information. I can't do an investigation without more information. So I can contact Lighthouse to say, hey, can you try to get more information from this person? They will then contact the reporter to get more information. and then they will provide that information to us. Or we can facilitate anonymous dialogue. I can make a report, Lighthouse will contact that person and say they're asking these specific questions. Are you willing to provide? And Lighthouse will never give us their email address or any information whatsoever. And lastly, how the report will be handled. The complainant will submit the report, like I said, through the phone, web, fax, or email. The internal auditor will receive a copy of the report from Lighthouse. Initial inquiries will be made to assign the risk level, priority, and status of the report. And then any follow-ups, actions, and outcomes will be documented through that case management system. And then the internal auditor will continue to manage and oversee the resolution process throughout that case management system until the ultimate resolution. And like I said, that's critical when creating an audit trail. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Andrea, several years ago, Shawnee County instituted a waste hotline that if there was a concern about governmental resources being wasted, they could make a call. How does this differ from the waste hotline?
Well, this one is an independent company, so is providing the services. It's my understanding from the waste hotline, I wasn't sure who the calls were going to, who was taking those calls. Whereas with this company, we know that it's an independent third-party company that will provide the information to us without providing detailed information of who the reporter is.
And can anyone make a call, whether they're a Shawnee County employee or a member of the public?
Yes, they can.
Bueller, any questions?
So how does your office work then with like human resources?
What we plan to do is the reports will come to me, and I will review them, see who needs to be involved, and then send that information. If it's something that I won't be able to handle, then I would send that information to who it needs to be sent to.
And so what kind of triggers then the need to then alert the county commissioners of a situation? Just asking.
I would say if it's something that is beyond our means to handle, or we need advice. I'm not sure. I don't really. If you want to.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I see this as something that there will be reports that we can generate, and those reports will not have names on them, but they will have the situations. And I would think that that's information we would give you on a regular basis. What reports are coming in, and what the status is of that report at the time. Then if there's something, an individual situation that would come in that looks like it's fraud or something like that, after an initial investigation, then you would be informed on that as well.
Okay. And I just, legally then, as far as if you notice any criminal activity, then do you have a responsibility then to, who has the responsibility to notify?
Well, I think as the items are reported and come into the internal auditor, then if she sees a legal issue of any kind then she would consult with the county counselors. If she sees an HR issue, she would consult with HR department, or the director of HR.
So, but are these policies then that we have in place, Betty, or
Well,
is it something we need to?
This is kind of the first step.
Okay.
This is to get a contract approved. There are some resolutions that will need to be amended or changed, because we do have a resolution on the hotline that has the phone number on it.
Right.
We will have a new phone number. So there are resolutions that will need to be changed. And what we wanted to do was go ahead and get this contract in place so we can get that new phone number,
Sure.
Get the web address and those kind of things, so that we can change those resolutions that need to be changed and updated.
So I'm asking questions that probably you're going to answer at some point, so, but just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Commissioner Shawnee?
Yeah, I thank Betty. I think this is a good idea, and thank you also. A couple of things. Number one, I think this needs to be widely publicized. And another thought is I've been asking for quite some time that we have an annual employee certification that includes I understand our internet policies and our email policies. I understand our non-discriminatory policies in Shawnee County. One thing we may want to add to that list is this is the ethics hotline number. This is independent, and put that on the certification so that people will know and will be reminded annually of what's important to Shawnee County.
Yes, that is something that is in the works.
Oh, okay.
We are looking at, Pat is looking at the IT policy, and we are making sure that we have all the updates in that we need. Once that is done, we are looking at several different policies that will be on this annual certification, and this is one of them that we are looking that will be on that annual certification. Andrea might also talk a little bit about how we plan to publicize this, not only initially, but on an ongoing basis.
Well, we plan to initially, obviously, we'll send out email blasts is what we were thinking. We also have ideas to design posters, possibly wallet cards. And then the main thing would be to add this as part of the orientation for new employees.
Excellent. Well,
Yes, and the emails would be quarterly.
okay, good. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented. And thank you again for bringing this up.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the contract as presented, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item C, Health Agency. Number 1, consider approval to submit grant application for state fiscal year 2016 capital improvement grant funding through the Kansas Association for the medically underserved, to upgrade the waiting room furniture at the main clinic in the amount of $10,325, requiring matching funds of $10,500.60 from the Shawnee County Health Agency CHC 2015 budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Health Agency. Each year, the Kansas Association for the Medically Underserved offers what's called a capital improvement grant to safety net clinics across the state. This is an application that we would like to submit in requesting funds to help upgrade the furniture that is in the waiting room at the main clinic. That furniture currently is over 17 years old. It's showing significant signs of wear and tear. With the anticipated relocation of the 10th Street Clinic services into the main clinic services in December, we know we'll have an increase in capacity of people who will need to be utilizing that waiting room. And the furniture that's currently in the 10th Street Clinic in that waiting room area, we would just leave with that facility since it was bought with that building. So what we're asking is for commission approval to apply for this capital improvement grant. The total project cost is $20,825.60. We would propose using $10,560 of program income as the match for this grant. And then we would hope to hear by the end of October if the grant was successfully awarded. There's a pretty limited amount of funds available statewide, but I think it's one of our, it's just an opportunity to get some funding to help cover the partial cost of something. So I'd be glad to answer any other questions you might have.
Questions regarding this request? I might note the concern that I had with this grant application is we are merging with Grace Med. If there are assets that are purchased and then transferred to Grace Med, I would want to work with Grace Med regarding that being recorded as a contribution of assets and noted on our obligations to Grace Med. So I agree that the furniture is well worn, it has served the county, but at the same time, if we do make any capital expenditures, that is so noted with that transfer of assets to Grace Med.
And we would definitely take that into to do as well.
Good. Any other questions?
Move approval.
There's been a motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller. I'll seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Next item.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C370-2015 with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for grant funding in the amount of $1,009,916 plus any reallocated federal funds that may become available during the contract period, and an additional $21,127 to to administer the Women, Infants, and Children Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Agency. This contract is our annual agreement with the state of Kansas to run the Women, Infant, and Children's Special Supplemental Nutrition Program. The total amount is $1,916,916. Shawnee County would receive $979,098, and the rest would go to Osage and Wabunsee. And right now, WIC is serving over 6,000 women, and we serve pregnant, breastfeeding, and postpartum women, infants, and children up to their 5th birthday, whose incomes are at or below 185% of the federal poverty level. And also included in this contract is $21,127 to support the Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Program, and she's serving about 375 women at this time in all 3 counties. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions regarding this? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Next item.
Item C3, consider authorization and execution of contract C371-2015 with Osage County to provide WIC services for an amount of $24,689 with all costs paid through KDHE grant funding.
Morning, Linda Oaks from the Health Agency again. This is our amount that would go to Osage County. No Shawnee County revenues are used for this, and there's about 355 people being served presently in Osage County. We've been serving Osage County since we've started WIC here in Shawnee County, so over 30 years. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about this agreement.
Any questions regarding this agreement?
Move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Bueller. All seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Next item.
Item C4, consider authorization and execution of contract C372-2015 with Wabunsee County to provide WIC services for an amount of $6,129 with all costs paid through KDHE grant funding.
Good morning, Linda Oaks again from the Health Agency. This is the same agreement as with Osage County, just to Wabunsee County. We have about 70 participants right now in Wabunsee County, and again, we've been serving Wabunsee since we started WIC here in Shawnee County. I'd be happy to answer any questions about this agreement.
Any questions regarding this agreement? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Next item.
Item C5, consider approval of request to advertise and fill a dietitian position for the WIC program at an annual salary of $50,833, including benefits, and to fill any subsequent positions that become vacant as a result of filling this position, with all costs to be paid through KDHE grant funding.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Agency. This position, we've had a resignation of a dietitian, so we would like to fill this for the busy WIC clinic. That annual salary does include all benefits, $50,833. This salary is completely paid for by the WIC contract that you just approved, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions regarding this contract? Or, I guess, request?
Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller. I will second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item C6, consider approval of request to issue smartphones to replace current flip phones to 25 staff members in the maternal child health, nurse family partnership, gatekeepers, courier, communicable disease, maintenance, environmental health, and child care licensing divisions.
Morning, Commissioners. Allison Alejos, Health Agency. The request before you is to upgrade our flip phones, 25 to be exact, within various programs of the Health Agency in the local health department. The flip phones the technology does not really meet our needs right now for our operations. Staff with a smartphone would be able to manage their work more efficiently out in the field. They'd be able to get directions as they're moving from one location to the next. They'll be able to access emails on site versus instead of having to come back to the office to do that, they can do it when they're out in the field. Also, we do have to be concerned about safety issues and make sure that they have access to those emergency services should they be needed. We also do have responsibility for 24-hour service for our communicable disease staff as well as our maintenance, and so this would allow them the technology that they need to either check emails from their home or to look at various technologies for heating and cooling the building, for example. Also, through our regulatory type programs, we can use that to improve our documentation and really make the photos that they're taking in the field much higher quality, so we have a better record of what's been going on. The total cost for this upgrade would be $1,944 per year. The actual cost that we get, the phones would be free for us. We would be able to get a $150 credit per each upgrade. So the cost of that $150 credit would really give us we would see no cost of increase for almost 23 months. So that would be my request, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Any questions regarding this request? Commissioner Archer.
Actually, I think we'll save a little money over the period.
Correct.
And that's always a good thing. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Archer for approval, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you very much.
Commissioners.
Next item.
Item D, County Councilor, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2015-79, granting the County Councilor's Office permission to initiate condemnation proceedings for any unresolved issues concerning land necessary for construction on the Willard Bridge project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rich Eckert, Shawnee County Councilor. This is a bit of a convoluted story, so I apologize. It just might take a couple of minutes to get into. But before I do, this particular commission, last 2.5 years, I don't think we've approved an eminent domain action, so I kind of wanted to go over the history of it just a little bit before we delve into this situation. Just at a cursory glance at our computer, since 1996, we've filed 32 eminent domain actions. 31 of them have been on behalf of public works, roads, bridges, so forth. What really spurred such a large number is the quarter-cent sales tax that was passed in 2002 and then bumped up to a half-cent in 2004. That gave us a robust bridge fund, and a lot of our eminent domains have been based on the new bridge projects. Some recent examples that we've used, the roundabouts that are up on 46th Street, the intersection of 29th and Croco, the intersection of Northwest 62nd and Tibbs Road, Southeast Adams to Southeast California on 45th Street, and then we did a pump station up in Lake Sherwood with a pump station and a tower back in 2010. So we've used it quite a bit, but we've been in a lull recently when we haven't had a need for it. There are two good reasons to use eminent domain. One of them is, of course, when you can't come to agreement on money, on value with the landowner. And there's a variety of reasons that might happen. We're not trying to say that we're too cheap or they're too greedy. They're just honest opinions of value, and people can't come together. One of the more minor reasons, and it's the one that we're going to use today, is that when there's a disagreement among multiple owners about who owns what, and that's what we're running into on this project. The simplicity of eminent domain for this is we just reach a value in the eminent domain process. The county will then pay that value into the court, and we walk away with title. We're done. And at that point, all of the various landowners who think they own some portion have to get in front of the judge and make their case, but the county's out of it, and we're moving on down the road with the project. And that's what's really going to happen here. In this project, we had notification from the title company a while back who the owner was, and we proceeded in good fashion down that road. We actually reached an accommodation with the landowner. We reached what we think was a fair value for the property, and we're moving on down the road. As a matter of fact, we even had the check drawn up. At the last minute, the title company calls us out of the blue and said, hey, we found a death in the record from 1979. That estate was not probated. There was no will found, and it threw everything into chaos. We picked up 4 new owners. They didn't know they owned the property, but now that they found out that they do, they are disagreeing with how much they think they owe. And one of the 4 we actually haven't even found yet to make contact, and we're still striving to do that. But since we now have multiple owners that are crossing their arms and pointing and disagreeing with the title company, what even the title company thinks, this will really slow the process down. So what we would like to have today is permission to start the eminent domain process. I want to be very clear about this. We're not going to file this tomorrow. We're going to take a breath. We're going to take a couple weeks to work through the process. But one of the urgent issues here is that if we do get federal money from the Tiger Grant, one of the things that the federal government wants is that we have ownership. They want to know that early. That's one of the requirements. So that's why we're coming in front of you asking for this today, because we want to be able to move as quickly as possible to show that the federal government that we do have ownership. And if we have to go through the eminent domain process, we'll have ownership even while the owners might be arguing over who owns what. So that's why we're using it here. This is not a money issue. Everything's about money, I know. But for us, it's not a money issue. It's a who owns it issue. And like I said, that's one of the lesser reasons you use eminent domain, but it's certainly handy here. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Commissioner Lermy.
I just know I shared with Rich before the meeting that I was contacted over the weekend by one of the property owners, and they said, hey, hold on, we just found out about this. Can we have a little bit of time? And I wrote back and explained just what you said, hopefully we won't have to use this, but we do need to get this process going, and that, I encourage them to contact Rich. And so, yes, I certainly hope we don't have to use eminent domain, but I think we need to be prepared to, so.
Like I said, we are going to take a couple of weeks, but having your vote in our pocket actually helps with negotiations, if that makes sense. So that's another reason that we're doing this now.
Commissioner Archer.
But the price is going to remain the same. I mean, the money we've set aside is not going to change, I assume.
It will change. It almost assuredly will, because everybody loses control now over the money issue. Once we file the eminent domain action, and if these parties can't come together, we can still settle this before the hearing,
Sure.
even after we file the eminent domain action. And that's happened before. So we'll file it, and then we have the statutory process. But at the end of the day, if we can't reach agreement, what will happen is that 3 independent appraisers will appraise the property, and they will tell us what the value is. It could be higher, it could be lower, it could be right on the money. But at that point in time, it's an independent value set by 3 appraisers.
Any other questions?
Commissioner Tom Block with Shawnee County Public Works. And just for your information, the amount of ground we are talking about, again, assuming the title company is correct in this case, is 4/100ths of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very, very small piece of property.
And from what I recall, we're spending $90,000 for that piece of property, is that right?
No.
What was the number?
The whole piece of property, which was, includes much more ground than this, was 90,000.
Okay.
But this particular portion that the title company has now come and said, we think there's 4 additional owners, equates to 4/100ths of an acre. 1,708 square feet.
And so we'll pay an amount accordingly, is that?
Yes, I believe what we're wanting to do, or hopefully we'll do, is we would acquire outright the portion that's not in dispute, and then would just put into potential eminent domain that remaining portion, of which this 4/100ths that's unclear right now is a part of. So there's actually 5 owners. The 5th owner is the owner of all the other property, according to the title company. And then these other, so the 5th owner owns 0.96. Let's see. I'll be honest, I'm messed up here. Owns the vast majority of it, put it that way. And then, but the amount that's in dispute is 4/100ths of an acre.
The only other question I would have is for the chair as an attorney on the group. Do you have any thoughts on the eminent domain process and going forward?
I think that government should always be very careful when we're talking about the taking of somebody's property without their consent. And that's what an eminent domain is. Eminent domain is the taking of another's property without their consent. And there are some delineated reasons, Public Works being at the height of this. This is an issue of safety. This is an issue of transportation. This is an issue of eminence to the Shawnee County that needs to be resolved immediately. And so I think that this is a proper use of the eminent domain. In the past, we've talked about, with the County Commission, and since you and I have been on the board, the last time it was approached was during the Wittenberg Bridge discussions for the extension of the trail, and how if the property owners that were not agreeable for the extension of the bike trail, we would have to acquire their property by eminent domain. And that was a much harder grasp for me as a commissioner if we're going to be taking people's property for a bike trail as opposed to the Willard Bridge, which is a higher priority in the county. But this is absolutely what the statute contemplates. This is what the legislature contemplated when we were talking about the taking of another's property without their permission by a governmental entity. And so I think this is a proper use of the eminent domain, and I would move for its approval.
I'll second and appreciate your thoughts, Mr. Chair, on that.
Any additional thoughts, Commissioner Bueller? Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications. Number 1, report on interest savings result from refunding of COPs and bonds.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. We sold our latest refunding on the 22nd, which was last Tuesday. And as part of that refunding, the county saved $225,525. Now, that amount is not an amount that we will see this year. As we refund these COPs or bonds, we refund them for the original term, so we do not extend the term of those maturities. That stays the same. So that savings will be recognized over, in the last one, it was, I believe, a 7-year period of time. During the last 2 years, we have had 4 refundings. One of those was a COP refunding in 2014 that saved the county $568,976. We have had 4 so far in 2015. Those were all, well, 2 of them were general obligation bonds that we refunded as general obligation bonds. This last one was a COP that we refunded as a GO bond. And so the total of the refundings we've done this year will result in savings to the county of $1,197,763. So the total for all the refundings we've done for 2014 and 2015 will result in a savings of $1,766,740. This is very much a team effort. As I said in my memo, it starts with the county clerk and our bond counsel and the investment people at Emeritus working together. They look at the call dates, they look at, the interest rates and the original interest rates compared to these, and they do an analysis to see if there is a savings, and that starts off the process, and then we go through the process. These savings, I also will mention, these savings are net of all of our costs. So this is a net of any costs that we have for underwriting, for legal, for the bond rating services, those kind of things. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Betty, this is really a great win for Shawnee County. Anytime that we can save the taxpayers almost $2 million. I know it's $1,700,000. I'll call it almost $2 million with my honorary CPA, if I can still claim that. This is a great win for Shawnee County, and so again, the whole team should be applauded for your work. Both you, the bond counsel, working with our independent groups to reach this result. So, any other?
No, I agree, and thank you to Betty and the team. And as soon as you turn in your continuing education, I will certify your continuing view as a CPA.
So, thank you. Any other administrative communications this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners. Barry Beagles, Shawnee County Planning Department. I wanted to give the committee, or the commission, a quick update with regard to the efforts of the Building Code Exploratory Committee. As you may recall, on May 14th, you appointed a 13-member body to serve as a Building Code Exploratory Committee, for which we're fortunate to have Commissioner Archer serving on it as well. They have hosted 5 meetings beginning on July 23rd, and they've met every 2 weeks over the course of that time. During that time, and I've provided the commission with all the agendas, the minutes, and all the resource materials that the committee receives, so to keep you up to date. But very briefly, during that time, what the committee has started was a SWOT analysis where they're taking a look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats associated with the idea of implementing a building code within the unincorporated area. We've entertained testimony of 2 local insurance agents with regard to the potential implications of the adoption of the building code relative to homeowners and business properties insurance rates, which was very interesting. We also entertained testimony from the chief building official for Miami County, and his insight was also good because they maintain a small program, and it showed that a building code program at that scale could be self-sufficient, and so that was quite an illuminating testimony on his part. Also, we then entertained a regional representative who came down from Chicago with the International Code Council, who shared with us from their perspective how communities benefit associated with the implementation of the building code. All of this work has been undertaken by the committee. They have received probably around 800 pages of resource materials, and I'm sure that Commissioner Archer has read every page of it, but it's a monumental thing that they have been handed to try to review. And again, the purpose behind the committee at this point is just to take a high-level view and look at the feasibility and viability of implementing a building code in Shawnee County and what that may potentially mean. We are not looking at the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts and the details associated with what that program could look like, how many staff or anything like that, but just trying to lay a foundation, enough information that the County Commission would feel comfortable with the idea of moving forward on a building code. 2 significant events that are coming up is that this Wednesday, September 30th, the committee will be hosting a meeting for builders and developers within Topeka and Shawnee County. There were notices sent out to over 400 individuals that are currently certified or licensed contractors within Topeka and Shawnee County. And we want to hear from them directly with regard to their viewpoints on this matter. And so that should be a good meeting. That will take place at the Garfield Community Center Shelter House at 5:15 this Wednesday, September 30th. Beyond that, the next significant event will be a meeting on October 14th, and it will be an invitation to the general public to come and share their viewpoints with regard to the implementation of the building code. And we also want to hear from them about their experience of owning property within the unincorporated area. Have there been any issues that they've had to deal with by owning a property in the unincorporated area that may have been related to the initial construction of their home? So anyway, we're wanting to take in as much information through these 2 upcoming meetings as possible. The committee will soon be starting to actually craft a response back to the commission. According to the guidelines, we're going to be submitting back to you a report and recommendation by December. And so the committee will be taking up that issue here real quickly, as well as far as synthesizing all the information that they have received, everything that has been discussed, and coming back to you with a report and recommendation. So I just wanted to share with you that the work that's been taking place with the committee. It's been a monumental task, but the discussions have been good. Nobody's accepted anything at face value. Everybody's had to argue their points, which has been good. And so hopefully we'll have some good information to bring back before you. So,
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Commissioners, Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. I just want to give you an update on the e-cycle electronic recycling event we had this weekend. I guess in my opinion, to put it shortly, it was a tremendous, tremendous success. We think we had about 650 participants. And when we got there, folks were lined up and down one side of the street. But when we got started, we literally had people going around, lined up around the entire block, and were patient to wait to get in. And once we started, the first couple hours, I think we put through 400 vehicles, which is about 4 per minute. And then the last couple hours it slowed down and it went about 2 per minute from there on out. But we didn't know what we would get going into this, and I think this is more than we expected. So we're thrilled to death. And I want to give, I guess, kudos to Monique Glade at the City of Topeka and Joan Graves from Shawnee County Solid Waste. They're the ones that did the majority of the legwork to get this going, as well as Ellie Van Dyke at the City of Topeka Communications. She put out a lot of information regarding the event, and the local media assisted and helped us promote it. So it was a great event. And also, Mayor Woodcraft, he was there at the beginning and saw the cars lined up, but he apparently has a little bit of clout with the police department, because we actually had to call in police to have some traffic control for the vehicles. So it was a great event. There are some things that we have identified that we can improve upon, but overall we were really thrilled. So I wanted to know.
Thank you.
I had the chance to, I brought some items down, I think it was about 11:15, and they were still pretty busy, but it was well organized. You just pulled in and they took care of you. You were in and out very quickly, so I thought it went over really well. So please extend our thanks to them as well. It was a good event. I took pictures, and they had everything organized where they just separated everything. It was a whole system. It was good.
Morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. Do want to remind everyone we do have one of our major special events coming Sunday, October 4th at Old Prairie Town. It's the Apple Festival starting at 10 a.m. Through 5 p.m. Got a lot of crafts, a lot of get to see the gardens and our new Hosta garden dedication that we had a couple weeks ago. It's a great family event. Hope to see everybody there.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ed Kalis with the Health Agency. As part of the National Preparedness Month, I'm here to talk about what we do at the Health Agency for emergency preparedness. As you know, we have a special group that's separate from emergency preparedness at the county level. Although we do get the same kind of direction from FEMA and Homeland Security, we have other guidance that we use through the Department of Health and Human Services and the Communicable CDC, Centers for Disease Control. We kind of split our program into two areas. One is for the region. We have 7 other regional partners that we work with to make plans and to interact with each other. We also have the Medical Reserve Corps, which allows volunteers to come and help us either with our own internal kinds of clinics, shot clinics, points of dispensing clinics, or actually in an emergency. Most of those are medically related folks who want to volunteer their time to the community. Locally, we work with emergency support function number 8, which is public health and medical services. And so we as coordinators work with the hospitals, nursing homes, all sorts of other folks that are going to have an effect on public health. And then internally we deal with our own continuity of operations plan. So if you have any questions about that particular program.
Any questions?
And I do have one more announcement separate from emergency preparedness. In addition to emergency preparedness, we also do the permitting of the trash haulers in Shawnee County at the Health Agency. And I just would like to let the public know that if they are in or next to a residential neighborhood, they should not be hearing trash trucks between 10 at night and 6 in the morning. So if they hear those things, we've been getting a lot of complaints, and our best time so far is 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
If they hear them, they can call 251-2455 and let us know, and we will take care of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed.
Good morning, Commissioners. H.R. Cook, General Manager, Kansas Expo Center. I don't know if I can beat a trash truck at 4 o'clock in the morning. To follow up a little bit on the Preparedness Month, SMG regularly reaches out to the various groups, safety groups in the state, whether it be state troopers or the KBI, the City of Topeka Police Department, Sheriff's Department. We are having this Wednesday, we've invited the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department to conduct drills and tests on lone shooter and a lone gunman and a hostage situation at the Kansas Expo Center. As you know, we deal with thousands and thousands of people a week, and a lot of times those people may have other alternatives other than attending an event. So we try to encourage all law enforcement to become very familiar with the Kansas Expo Center, its surroundings, and work with our employees as far as what to expect and what to do in case we run into those situations. So that is the 30th, this Wednesday, the last day of Preparedness Month. Also, I'd like to announce that this Friday, the PBR Championship Bull Riding Tour, those tickets go on sale for that event coming December 18th and 19th. It's near Christmas. Nothing says Christmas like some bull riding tickets under the tree. Tickets range from $50 down to $25, and this particular event will be one of our first ones to offer to Shawnee County residents. If they show a ID, they receive a $5 discount on their ticket up till about a week before the event. So this is our thanks and help encourage those local residents to come out and experience the Kansas Expo Center. This bull riding is brought to you by Prairie Band Casino and Resort, and if you take your ticket after the event to Prairie Band, you receive $20 in Prairie Band cash. So if you are a Shawnee County resident and purchase the $25 ticket, you get a $5 discount, which is $20. You go to Prairie Band, you get $20 in casino cash. It's like going to the event for free.
There you go.
There you go.
Any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Archer, can you top that?
Absolutely not. But we do like free. I just wanted to follow up with Barry Beagle's discussion of the committee to look at the building code. There has been a lot of documentation and information to review. It's been overwhelming at times, but I did want to assure my colleagues that our approach is comprehensive, it's in-depth, and it's systematic. So when we come to the commission with a recommendation, whatever that happens to be, it will be well thought out and actionable. So I just wanted to point that out. And that was it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I do have a note for today. Matt Fletcher, who has served on the Expo Center Advisory Board for a significant period of time, recently submitted his resignation as he was moving out of the county and could no longer serve as a representative of the Expo Center Advisory Board. This creates an opening. The requirements are that you must reside within Shawnee County outside of the city limits. So if you are a person who resides outside of the city limits but in Shawnee County and has a desire to serve the Expo Center Advisory Board, the board does oversee the operations of the Expo Center, looks at their programming, offers ideas for how we might utilize the Expo Center better or more efficiently. Please submit your application or interest to the Shawnee County Commission. I would open this up for the next month, so looking at taking the applications through October the 28th, which would take us to closing it and on October the 29th. If you know of a person, please pass it on. We would look forward to hearing from you. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is not a need. We are adjourned. The Board of Health is scheduled to follow this meeting directly. Let's take a 15-minute break, beginning the Board of Health meeting at 10:20.
Make sure I've got